So hi, this is Justin Udy here. I am here with Brian Swan. He is the director at Stringham Real Estate Schools here in Utah. How are you today?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having this interview. This is fun.
That's awesome. I wanted to have you on and I wanted to speak with you today because Brian, they run the biggest real estate school here locally. And in fact, if just tell us a little bit about your school, how big it is, the amount of students that you're dealing with, and we're going to get into why this is important.
Okay. So Stringham has been around since about 1989. Out of all of the schools that are currently existing, it has the longest lifespan here. Everybody else has sprung up after. And because it's been around the longest, it has just kind of churned out a high number of agents. And agents continually refer back to us because we do a fantastic job at educating them and preparing them for the test, which ultimately, when people come to real estate school, they know they got to pass the state test to get their license, and that's what's most important to them. And so it's been over the years of students just coming in because they get such a good experience, they get good instruction, and they get well prepared, and they pass the exam, and then they just refer their friends, family, and it has just been this cycle, this churning cycle ever since. So Stringham, we get a few hundred students a month that come through here. There are 12 real estate schools in Utah currently. We are the largest school, graduate more students than the other schools combined. So it is the state's, when people, in the industry, you talk about where you went to real estate school or who you're going to refer someone to, it is always Stringham. It's just the name that's always dropped.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Tell me this, do we have any numbers on where we're nationally ranked as far as schools compared to other ones?
Not schools. The only numbers, because schools are all private, so we don't know the numbers per se of every individual school. But as far as states go, we do have those numbers. I don't know all the states. It is population ranked. I can tell you, I was just up at the division Wednesday actually this week, and they do the numbers at their public meetings. And Utah currently has about 23,000 licensed agents in total. That includes your active, your inactive, your broker, your agents. There's about 23,000 in total, and about 17 or so are active. So we have a good amount, and it is growing each year. Month after month, there's a few hundred that come in, and it kind of trends upwards. But as far as where we rank to other states, I think that's really relative to population. Of course, California has hundreds of thousands of real estate agents.
So tell me this, what are the main things that you're finding that these hundreds of people that are coming in every single month, what are they looking for? Why do they want to get into real estate?
Oh, that's a good question. I think what they'll tell you right off the front when you ask them is one of two things: either money, that's why they're getting into real estate, they think that they can go make money, or two is freedom. And ultimately, money offers the freedom that you're always after. So I think people come to real estate school or want to become a real estate agent because they're really looking for a better quality of life. They're not happy at their job, or they're unemployed and they need something. But either way, they're looking for a change that offers them a little bit more freedom.
Excellent. And I think this is important because whether somebody is starting in the business, they know their peers and what they're looking for. If you're starting a team, you know why people are coming in. And then also, if you're a team leader and big, like some of these other questions that I'm going to ask you, maybe just kind of draw some information that'll help them. Tell me, as far as maybe what is the misconception that you're finding that once they get in, that you're finding, because they're obviously either they come back, they want additional education, right? What are you finding?
So the biggest, I would say, discrepancy between expectations coming in versus real world is just how difficult it is. It is true, better than anyone, it is true. You can make a lot of money in real estate. You can pound the pavement from morning till evening, and you can close a lot of deals. But it's easier said than done. It's easier said to go pound pavement than actually go do it. It's easier said to receive referrals than to actually go get referrals. So in theory, the real estate business is awesome. And even in practice, it's awesome, but it's harder awesome, right? Mm-hmm. It's a more difficult reality to make happen. And I think that's where people, they come to school, they get excited, they get their license, and they should, because there's potential in it. There's a huge amount of potential. But then every personality is different, and some people, they get it, they understand right away. I got to go hard, I got to go work hard, I got to make it happen because it's not going to come. But others have expected it to come, and those are the ones that typically drop off, or don't have that great of a run in it.
Yeah. I met Brian for the first time when he actually had me on when we had won Sales Team of the Year. And so what was interesting is you had interviewed a number of people that were the Realtor of the Year, Sales Team of the Year, all these people, and you've continued to do that. What would you say, in your experience, looking from the outside in, literally seeing our market as a whole, which kind of reflects, frankly, on other states and so forth, what would you say is the big separation, or what separates those top producers from either an amateur or a novice?
So I think what I found, and Kelton has filmed all these, I think he would back this up, is that in these interviews there was a constant recurring thing with everybody. And that was that the successful agents understand that this is a business. It is not just a job. It is not just something I go and do. It's not just a money maker, quote unquote. This is a business. And the individual agent, because they are an individual, they're an independent contractor, they're 1099, they're on their own, they tend to just take on this attitude that if it's going to happen, it's up to me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to people and I'm going to try to close as many deals as I can, and I'm going to work it the best I know. But the people who really looked at this as a business have learned from experience, or at least have been wise enough and astute enough to look at other successful agents, and they found, like what you've talked about, needs to have certain systems in place, need to have certain resources in order, need to allocate their commission checks a certain way. We had our Rookie of the Year on, and he talked about, the biggest error that he saw people making was they would spend all of their commission on the niceties, the material things, to present an image that he called the $30,000 millionaire. Mm-hmm. Right? The nice suit, the nice tie, the nice car, but they were really broke and they're going just working themselves to death. Whereas, like with your experience and his, beater car, nothing fancy, nothing nice, and it was all a matter of when a commission comes, allocate it and let the money start to help me with its resources, the systems I can put in places, all of that kind of thing. So it's really what I have found the common theme is business mentality versus a sales agent mentality.
Excellent. Well-dressed poverty.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
What do you think that you have found keeps them growing or going or pursuing?
The agents?
Mm-hmm.
What keeps them going? That was also an interesting discussion that I had with a lot of those that we interviewed, that, we all have our motivators. And a lot of people that come into the business are motivated by money. Mm-hmm. The ones that are successful aren't motivated by money. They're motivated by something deeper. It's a sense of growth. It's a sense of contribution. The money comes as a result of it. So, I think your question really goes into human psychology as to, can we change what motivates us? Well, I think we can, but that would be, a totally different, long discussion on how to do it. But I think that what you see as far as the difference between great agents and those that are struggling are that they are motivated by something other than the paycheck. Do they need the paycheck? Yes, we all need paychecks to pay the bills. But what is it that really drives? Over and over again, we had agents talk about, what really drives me is that I love seeing the smiles on the faces when I help somebody buy a home. When I feel that they are truly grateful for me finding them the right house, or helping them out of their upside down house, or whatever the situation is, I have helped this person. And so that connection, the contribution, and the growth of always learning and gobbling this stuff up is, I think, the greater motivator between the good and the struggling.
That's excellent. Other than maybe doing production and doing sales in real estate, have you found anything other things that they're maybe doing to build wealth, and maybe why is that important?
I have not really talked to anyone other than yourself and a few others who have outside investments that have helped leverage their business. I think it's a concept that everybody in the business is, not everyone, most people in the business are interested in. I think they see the value. But because it is a commission-oriented business, they feel like the commission checks are too sparse. They don't have enough left over to get into investing or have certain investments that would help them or outside ventures. So yeah, I think that in all honesty, out of the thousands of agents out there, I think it's rare that some of them actually have outside ventures going on.
Yeah, I know you talk to a lot of teams, people that have built that around it, because that's been something that you've really been interested in as it evolves.
Mm-hmm.
Because people come to you about
Right.
getting real estate and going into teams. What would maybe 3 things that you would suggest to either someone starting a team or a team leader that are musts that they should be implementing or have that you feel will help them be the most successful?
Besides talk to the man himself, the Justin Udy, the king of teams.
Right.
You're probably more qualified to answer the question, but if I get people, and I get students all the time, I'm interested in a team, I want to be on a team, so what should I look for? And, in talking to a lot of people that are on teams and managing teams, I've seen the business models of those teams are different across the board. How they split their commission checks, to how they differentiate roles, to tasks, to duties, time constraints, requirements, trainings. I mean, it's as different as the brokerages out there, honestly.
Yep.
And so, the question, I kind of just turn it back around to them and ask them, what's important to you? Is it important to you to have more of this kind of, social team network, or more of a regimented structure like a business? Is it more important for you to have your designated role, something that you're just good at and that's what you do? Or do you want to kind of wear a hat of everything and just, you're part of a team but you're selling your own properties? So, I think that's a tough question to answer, because there's so many models and people are always looking for something, that meets their wants, their needs. So I usually try to get as much information as I can, and I don't know everybody out there that has a team, but I will tell them, as you go out and you start talking to people and see if the team fits for you, these are the questions that you need to ask, because this is what you've told me that's important to you. You want to be able to do the transaction start to finish. You don't want to delegate tasks. So any team that delegates tasks, probably not going to fit for you.
So let's shift gears here. You have a business that you are the director of. You have hundreds of agents that come here, and I think this is important because really when we talk about running a business, it's important because my business and your business has several similarities. Maybe yours is more on the education side, mine's on more the sales and transaction side, but they're very similar because it's a business.
Right.
What do you feel in working with people in general are the things that you find to help your people be the most successful?
So to be the most successful,
or how do you lead? I mean, in what I'm trying to get to is like you are leading people to have the #1 school in real estate, essentially. What do you feel like you're doing different than your competition?
So yeah, to lead people to be successful and to differentiate yourself, I think all comes down to an experience. Whether they are on a team, whether they are in a brokerage, whether they're at a real estate school, or even outside this industry, any job, people want to feel that they're having a good experience. So for us personally, we have, spared no expense at making online classes completely different than any competitor out there. And I'm not just talking locally, I mean nationally. We searched and there is nobody that does online classes the way we do, with studio produced, high def cameras. I'm an attorney, so I went and researched case law where these real estate concepts went to court. And we have reporters that, Kelton, our cameraman, he went out there and filmed our reporters talking about these cases so that students could see this isn't just theory. It's not a matter of elements of a contract or how to breach it or what happens when you breach a contract, but now we give you an actual story where this contract was breached and this was the reason and this is what the court said. And we integrate those into our online classes so that they have lecture from an instructor like traditional classroom, but we also have real life examples of, agents. This is what happens in the real world. When something like this happens, it goes to court, and this is what the court is going to hold. This is what they're going to say and what they're going to do and how it's going to be treated. And we try to make it as visually stunning as possible. We try to make the overlay, the images on the screen, really pop. And so to answer your question, the student and the agent or the employee, whatever it is, they want an experience and they want to feel like their experience is valued, that the company, the employer, the broker, the educator, we take an interest in having them feel good being under our care and control.
Absolutely. The funny thing is I came to Stringham Real Estate School 13 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And just like he said, is everything from the physical environment, the education, the A to Z has been upgraded, it's been changed.
Yeah.
And again, as many, we're talking, how many schools there are. And some of them aren't even local,
Right.
The online schools
Yes.
that are doing things. And truly separating yourself from the competition and creating this, we talk to it like a Nordstrom type experience, being able to go to a 5-star hotel versus something,
Yeah.
That's a 4-star or a 3-star.
And that's what people want, is a 5-star experience with anything. They want to feel important in what they're engaging the business in. So I respond personally to every email that a student emails me, even if it's something that is not within my expertise, like tech. We have our tech department or our IT that handles stuff. If I get an email, I don't just forward it over. I'll respond and I'll CC our tech person so that they know we take an active interest. Even the students that go and pass the exam, they just chime in. They say, hey, I don't expect a response. Just want to let you know I passed the exam. Thank you so much. I make sure that there's a response. Like, we want everybody to feel important, that this is their experience as much as it is ours.
So you respond to every one of those?
Yes.
Personal?
Yes.
Wow. You have a lot of people that work
It takes
there.
time. It takes some time.
Jeez.
And
Awesome.
sometimes they're short, but I do what I can.
Cool. Tell me this. What causes and things about this business, and I think you kind of mentioned it, but just really quick, what is it that kind of keeps you here, being passionate about it, trying to create more value in your business? Why is that important to you?
So my interest is, my personality is really challenge based. When I came here to Stringham, we had outdated material. It was several years old. There was problems with the content. The tech was all out of whack. So the whole thing about being hired on was to fix and control, contain the fires, put them out, and then rebuild. And we've done that. And now, it's a good question, because I found myself at times saying, okay, now what, right? Stringham, we're getting all these referrals. People are coming in. We're still, controlling the market share in the state. We have the numbers. So what next, right? It's education. How do you improve education? And presenting the business in the form of a challenge is really what has kept my interest here. How do I make the product better? How do I make the experience better? How can we make sure that more people want to come to us? Because we feel we do the best job out of any school. So why would you go anywhere else if you can come to us? And if you are going somewhere else, what can we do that will make you regret that decision, right? Like, we want your business. We're a business. But the only way that that's really going to happen is if we somehow demonstrate outwardly, market ourselves, show, present it in a way that really shows, one, we care, and two, we're cutting edge. We are on top of it. We do know what we're doing, and we have this thing down. So to me, it's a challenge that if I can, instead of thinking of it as a problem, I think of it as a challenge. How do I innovate? How do I make this thing better so that more students enjoy their experience? That's what really keeps me going.
That's awesome. And the thing is whether it's real estate, when you understand best practices of any business, you can make that business great. Mm-hmm. That constant realizing that it is a never-ending improvement process,
right,
is what essentially keeps you on top. It's what keeps you growing and progressing. Because that's one thing I love, like, for example, like about when there's a business that truly teaches self-improvement. Because when you're constantly figuring out what can we do to improve upon it, there's never a best.
Yeah.
You're continually innovating and growing. You and I have seen in our lives a million businesses that they were great businesses and then they stopped.
Yeah.
right? When you guys ended up taking over the school, because which you did. I mean, there was an existing school which you took over, and then you
Yeah.
grew it.
Right.
I mean, it's a night and day difference, so it's really cool. Okay, we're gonna go through our speed round really quick, and I'm gonna answer these. I just want you to answer these quick.
Okay.
All right?
I'm
And
nervous.
it's right off the top. It shouldn't be nervous. It's awesome. All right, ready?
Yes.
Okay. Apple or Android?
Oh, I see. Android.
Zillow or online buyer leads?
Probably, I don't know much about buyer leads, but I know Zillow has its problems, so I would go online buyer leads.
Okay. Mountains or ocean?
Mountains.
Facebook or LinkedIn?
Facebook, probably.
Cold call or knock doors?
Knock doors.
Okay. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Buy existing or build?
I've never done new construction. I'd go build just for the experience.
Okay. Physical book or audiobook?
Physical.
Tie or no tie? You're
Can you
in
tell?
no tie. Okay. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Okay. First job, worst job?
For me.
Mm-hmm.
First job was retail at County Seat in the mall, Cottonwood
Ooh,
Mall.
sweet.
Yeah, going back, right? And I think after I was there, it went out of business shortly after because it was just horrible clothes.
Hopefully it's because you weren't stealing all the money, right?
No, it wasn't me. No.
Or driving customers away.
Right. I think their clothing line drove customers away. Best job. I love this job. This has been a great job. It's been very rewarding. But, besides this, prior to this life, I worked at Golf Galaxy. That was pretty
Oh,
cool.
fun.
We spent a lot of time on the golf simulator in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And played 18 holes at Pebble Beach.
Oh, that's
So I have
cool.
played Pebble Beach. It was just the computer version.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. You're like, let's go get a drink. Okay, let's walk around.
Exactly.
Right, it's funny. All right, biggest pet peeve?
Man, that's a tough one to think on the spot. Okay, I'll tell you, complaining about problems when there's solutions and you don't want to take the solutions. Can't stand that. Like, I get it if there's no solutions, but if you're going to complain about problems to me and there's a solution, just do it. Just take care of it.
Figure it out.
Yes.
Dream vacation spot?
I would say Iceland. Yes.
Wow,
Mhm.
Iceland.
Iceland.
Very cool. Best piece of advice you ever received?
Best piece of advice. There has been a lot. If I was to narrow it down, it would probably be along the lines of what we've been talking about. Continual improvement. That, just the word improve means there is no ceiling. There's never a point where you can be perfect. So that has really shaped everything I've done in life, even the thinking about this business as well.
Excellent. Favorite podcast?
I'm not. So here's the irony of this whole thing, right? I have never really listened to podcasts.
Oh, well,
And
there you
here
go.
we are. Yeah, here we are doing one. We're starting one at our company, so I guess ours.
There you go.
Ours are
Well, how
favorite.
come it's not mine?
Yeah, that's it. I know. I need to get on now and catch up to all your episodes.
All right. What's your go-to motivation song?
Go-to motivation. The one that has always got me jazzed, like charged,
Yeah.
probably something like Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, cool. Biggest role model?
Tony Robbins.
Oh.
Tony Robbins guy.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Well, I was never a Wolverine fan from X-Men until I started really thinking about how cool it would be to just regenerate from pain and injury. Because now that I'm getting older, like I'm feeling that stuff. Yes.
Heal quickly.
Every morning it's aches and pains.
When those bullets pop out of him, like, that's like the coolest thing,
Yeah.
I swear.
Uh-huh.
All right. What would you have for your last meal?
Probably pizza.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh man, that's a loaded one, isn't it? How revealing, how invasive do I feel right now? Okay, I would probably say Kelton's going to just be listening to this with total scrutiny because he knows me so well. I'd say probably analytical, I would say confident and smart.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Brian, you can, folks, go and listen to his podcast where he is essentially interviewing agents. I did an interview with him. He's doing other agents that are successful in their own way, doing certain things, single agents, teams, different people, top rookie producers. They put out a lot of really good content. So you can go to stringhamschools.com.
Right.
You can go to that link also to see their podcast. If you happen to be local and you are looking for education, go to stringhamschools.com and you can get access to their schooling and everything. I went here. They did an amazing job. It's now better. It's crazy if you could see what I'm looking at. Everything is like up to date, innovative, amazing. If I had schooling like this, I wouldn't have hated going every day because it's actually really nice and it's more educational. So it's a really cool thing that you've actually
Like we said,
there.
everyone goes to Stringham, so if you become an agent and water cooler talk about where you went to school and you're the only one that didn't, you're going to feel pretty awkward. It's
Yeah.
happened before.
You're going to feel dumb. Totally. Good deal, man. Thanks so much for being on. I appreciate it.
you bet. Thank you.
Thank you.